Badger Army.
Hey, Badger Army.
Welcome to another episode of On the Bench. Indeed, this will be premiering, so please do enjoy the conversation and chit-chat in the chat. Welcome, and I hope you're having fun. Today we're going to talk about, of course, Meatloaf dying at the prime age of in his 70s, and of course we're going to talk about the Netflix subscription skyrocketing and how it is being affected by COVID and the lack of it. Okay, so Nick, you know a fair bit about Meatloaf, hopefully. Tell us all about this stuff.
Well, Meatloaf, of course, at the time of recording this, it's been announced that Meatloaf has sadly passed away at the age of 74.
Ah, yes.
Meatloaf, of course, is best known for his tracks like Bat Out of Hell, and also his performance in the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yes, which is one of mine and the boss's favourite films. Do love the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It has such a zany atmosphere and so over the top and silly, and Meatloaf is such a perfect character for it, isn't he? And even though he's only in it for a bit, his presence in the film is felt throughout the whole lot.
Yeah,
and it's actually quite a big plot point in the film what happens, isn't it? And it
yeah,
spurs a lot of the
he is generally seen as having stolen the show in that film.
Exactly, and he's only in it for like 10 minutes, maybe less.
Well, there you go. And of course, Meatloaf had a revival in the 90s when Bat Out of Hell 2 came out.
That's right, yes.
And of course, that famous song about how he'd do anything for love.
I would do anything for love.
But he won't
do that.
Not entirely sure what that was, but I think that was kind of one of the main selling points. What could that be?
And I think that's how it appealed to the everyman, isn't it? Because it would allow you to think, well, I wouldn't do that. Maybe I would do this. And I think that's part of the charm, isn't it?
Indeed.
The mystery.
And he went on to have several more hits as well during the 90s, and he remained a prolific figure. He was working right up until he passed away. Had other projects in the pipeline, so it is sad to see him go. I think I will be honest with you. When I was a kid, a lot of his music went a little bit over my head.
Yeah.
But
I remember him being in the charts for ages.
Yeah.
And,
and I Would Do Anything for Love, But I Won't Do That was number one for, I'm thinking about 5 weeks, maybe as long as that. Maybe it was something like 8 weeks. We had to go.
Yeah, I think it might have been 8 weeks because it seemed like a long time he was in the charts for.
That's because it was
battling the likes of course, Bryan Adams and Wet 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 and all these sorts of people.
Those were at different periods.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, those weren't the same year, but I suppose he was competing with them in the sense that it looked like he could be number one for almost as long as that Bryan Adams song.
Yes,
but it wasn't.
So
yeah, but what a great legacy of music that he leaves behind. Me and some friends are actually going to go and watch Bat Out of Hell the musical this weekend.
Ooh.
which will be fascinating, and I just hope it's going to be a big celebration of the big man and all that he did for music.
So it's not going to be a rusical then? It's not going to have RuPaul in it and a load of drag queens then?
No.
Oh. So, because I'd watch that.
Has RuPaul talked about doing a rusical?
Yes, there is. Well, they always do a rusical in the show where they talk about all these different things. And it's really funny how they take a normal concept, flip it on its head, then flip it again, and then put loads of drag queens in it. Anyway, we're off topic. Carry on, Nick.
So yes, rest in peace, Meatloaf. Your music and your performances will be remembered for a long time to come.
Exactly, and on a weird note, my brother, who died just before Christmas, his whole funeral was littered with Meatloaf songs. So he was a big, big fan. So I'm sure if my brother was about, he'd be very upset. So I don't know, it's a shame, isn't it? But
well,
yeah.
I'm sure he's going to go to a big rock out that Meatloaf will be having up there.
I know, wouldn't it be amusing if he's met Meatloaf in heaven? Well, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, so, R.I.P. to Meatloaf, one of the biggest rock gods in the modern era. I never used to, like Nick was saying, I wasn't really a fan when I was younger, but it did sort of warm on me as my later years. I'm only 41, but you know what I mean. Indeed. So Guys, of course, comment your favourite Meatloaf songs in the comments. And if you didn't really like him much, tell us why, and we'll chat about it, as this is a premiere episode.
Of course, there's lots of other Meatloaf songs as well. Rock and Roll Dreams Come Through was a good one, and that's a good one to remember today.
Indeed. Next, we're going to talk about Netflix hiking up prices. Now, I recently read on Instagram, as I, am one of these terrible people that read articles on Instagram, that Netflix is going to be rising their prices up in America and Canada. And no doubt they'll trial that, and eventually in the UK it will get more expensive, making it America's most expensive streaming service.
Yikes. There's been a lot of talk because, of course, their subscriptions skyrocketed during the first lockdown.
Of course, along with Disney Plus.
And of course, year-on-year growth, as one often talks about in business, has been considerably slower this year. So I think we're just going to have to wait and see what happens with them. I mean, Netflix has a ton of new shows coming up.
Stop cancelling shows, Netflix.
Yes, and especially and whatever you do not get a second season of Hype House. Don't.
I want to watch that show. Is that the one where it's all the streamers and all the vloggers all living together?
All the TikTok influencers who are. Yeah, they're all very spoilt. They're all terrified of getting cancelled.
Well, like us, you mean?
I don't know. Are we saying anything that controversial?
Oh, sometimes we have. Maybe the time when we said that Pride Month was like gay Christmas.
I mean, we meant that as a compliment, though, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we mean it in a nice way. So yeah, but less Hype House, more actual good quality stuff that people admire.
Why are people watching this then?
Because they know us and they like us and we're established.
Established, darling.
Yes.
We've been doing On the Bench for about 3 years.
We have, yeah.
It's mad. Anyway, off topic. Keep going.
So it will be interesting to see how that pans out. I need to sit down and watch all the series of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Or Hype House.
No, and thrice no. What I have done though is I have watched a lot of commentary channels talk about that, which is good because it means you can support them
while they watch the trash.
Yes.
Yes, I need to watch it. Maybe we could do a daily Hype House videos, Nick. I'm gonna watch it. I am gonna watch it. I want to see what it's like.
Then you can talk about it, and you can hope and pray that Badger Jr. does not turn out that way.
He's not going to be turning out that way. Don't worry about that. No worries about that one. But yeah, so we were talking about Hype House. But what do you think about Netflix? Do you think it's going to peter down? Do you think they're going to rise the prices up and it's going to sort of flop? What do you think, Nick, is their best option for next? Do you think they should stick their prices up in the UK? Or do you think they should now lower them? Or what do you think they should do?
I don't think they should start putting up lots of prices straight away.
No.
I think there's at the moment they have a lot of good shows in their favour.
That's right.
They have, there's I think I think it's Netflix that the next series of Bridgerton is coming up on, and that's very well anticipated. Yes. And there's lots of other stuff, of other things going on there, and it's still very much a go-to site. For a lot of them. I suppose with it being unlikely that we're going to have another lockdown anytime soon, although it's touch wood, I think. But I do think there's enough in its favour that people are still going to want to have it.
Okay.
So yeah, I know it's going to be. I know Disney Plus has been a lot of competition because they've had a lot of the blockbuster films,
and they're getting a lot of their Pixar films. They're not going to the cinema. They're actually going straight there. So these are $1 million films going straight on. Which is mad. We would never have thought this was going to happen a few years back. No, definitely not. And they've stopped even doing the home premieres, and they're just waiting and putting them on there for free. Eternals, has only just come out on DVD and it's on their streaming one. You know, so that's how good Disney Plus are getting. That they're taking, you know, films are coming out in Hollywood. It's only about 3-4 months, and they're on the streaming service. That's record.
I suppose what you could also add though is that Netflix is not Disney Plus.
Well, we know
They are, you know, I think people go to them for different things.
that's true. Yeah.
You know, people are more likely to go there for box sets, for, you know, and for series than they are with Disney Plus. Obviously, Disney Plus has a few series.
Yeah.
It's got some of the Star Wars affiliations.
That's right.
with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And of course, Avengers and Marvel.
Yeah. So people will go to those, but they may well go. But people go to Netflix for other things. So at the moment, you know, it's not a like for like comparison.
No, that's true.
That we're saying with that.
So we're hoping that Netflix gets it sorted out and realizes what they're doing. But we're going to talk about the next topic now.
So last Saturday, a few friends and I went to watch Outta Hell the musical at the new Wimbledon Theatre, and well, it was a hell of a ride, in the best possible way. The musical tells the story of Raven, a young girl who falls in love with Strat, the leader of a local gang called the Lost, who apparently will stay young forever. Her parents are less than approving, so on the night of her 18th birthday, she runs away to join him. It's an all-singing, all-dancing, high-energy production, even the ballads are energetic, with fantastic performances from the cast, crew and music section. A friend of mine who's seen the musical over 30 times described it as like a play mixed with a rock concert, and yep, that sums it up pretty well, I'd say. It's easy to forget that Meatloaf himself was as much an established actor as he was a singer. In his lifetime he appeared in over 60 films, and a lot of his music videos were mini blockbusters. Add to that his songs were always known for their extravagant production values, his songs translate to the stage perfectly. The musical runs for a total of just under 2.5 hours, and of course the songs make up a very large chunk of that. This leads to what perhaps would be my only criticism of the play, and it's that, with all the music that's going on, fantastic as it is, it does mean that the plot sometimes plays second fiddle, and it sometimes feels like it's hard to work out what's going on. There was at least one instance where I was thinking to myself, did that character die? And also I found that the relationship between Raven's parents, Sloane and Falco, was always kind of like slightly different every scene, and although there are relationships like that, it can lead to being a bit inconsistent and confusing when put down into a play form. It could be argued, though, that a musical is primarily about the music, and there was just enough going on for the music to carry the plot and for the plot and music to work together really well, coupled, of course, with the great performances from all concerned that I mentioned. Overall, I highly recommend going to see it. If you're a Meatloaf fan, then definitely don't miss it, but even if you're not, there's plenty to enjoy. It's a really good night out.
Mr. Slender, yes, bring me a dream,
Bum, bum, bum.
do, that I've ever seen,
Bum, 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 bum.
please move your magic dream. Mr. Slendy, bring me a dream, bum, 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 bum.